So Bart, tell me, could you give us a short elevator pitch on what Biotalys is doing?
So at Biotalys, we are developing protein-based biocontrols that can be used in crop protection as an alternative for conventional chemical pesticides. And our proteins, they are based on antibodies derived from camels and llamas. So with our technology platform, we are able to design very specific proteins that can target different pests and diseases on crops with a very high precision. The big advantage is that our proteins are biodegradable, so they're not leaving any harmful chemical residues in the environment. And our goal is, of course, to make agriculture more sustainable and safer for both the farmer, but also for the end user, which is us as a consumer.
You said llama and alpaca?
Llamas, alpacas, camels. So this type of animals.
So why? Do they have a specific property?
Indeed. So next to the conventional antibodies like we also have, so that's a double chain antibodies, these animals have also an only heavy chain antibodies. So these antibodies are smaller compared to the conventional antibodies that we have. And what we do, we take the smallest part of such an antibody that binds to certain antigen. And we call that 𝗂𝗶𝘁. So that's a very small protein.
Okay, so you're in the space of biopesticides, essentially.
Indeed, correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how far along in the journey are you? I think we can definitely categorize you as a scale-up. Can you give us some insights into the journey of turning into a scale-up and also what the success factors were to get there?
Sure. So scaling bio-based innovation, especially in agriculture, can be very challenging because the cost of goods is very critical. Sure. So we compete against very cheap chemicals, and that's sometimes challenging. So what is key to success? We are producing our proteins by precision fermentation. So very important here is to, first of all, select a good microbial host that can express our proteins. So, and that starts with screening different hosts and to really then selecting the best one. And once you have a certain host, then of course you need to further develop that host to really maximize expression of our proteins in that particular host. Over the past years, we have built internally a strong platform for expression of our proteins, but to maximize our chances for success, we also have set up external collaborations with experts in the field to really build this very high-performing production. So that's one step. Of course, it does not end with having a strain. Then you also need a process. So that also takes time to develop a process that also needs to be scalable. And in that sense, we're also working with partners like Bio-based Euro pilot plant here in Ghent.
So you scaled with Bio-based Euro pilot plant, not with a corporate in the beginning?
No, we're doing that with them indeed. So they help us in going from lab scale to a more industrial relevant scale. And then also, of course, in the next step, we need to go to the large scale manufacturing. Also there, we are looking for partners that have this volumes available and that have this state-of-the-art large scale manufacturing equipment, which enables then produce the large volumes at a relevant cost. And of course, what is also very important for success is having a talented team. I really believe that we also have built that over the last years. And we really have internally a multidisciplinary team. So we have molecular biologists, we have scientists, train engineers, process engineers, but also regulatory experts, agronomists. So that's really crucial.
And I imagine that for you, I think it's the biocide product regulation in Europe, right? That is the most important regulatory framework.
Indeed. So we submitted a dossier both in the US and in Europe. First, biofungicide, so that's 𝗍𝗂𝗏. And a couple of weeks ago, we received good news from the US. Okay. So there the EPA is involved in our in the approval of our dossier. So, and a couple of weeks ago, EPA has issued their proposed registration decision to approve our first biofungicide, 𝗍𝗂𝗀. So that was really a very big milestone for us as a company. So now we are further working on further improving the strains, the process to really make the process economical ready for scaling and bringing it to the market.
May I ask, when will you be able to enter the US market?
Well, we hope that by 2029 we can enter the US market.
I'm assuming with the 𝗍𝗂𝗂𝗂, it's not the same timeline?
So in Europe, we submitted our dossier by EFSA.
EFSA. Okay.
EFSA, yes.
Yeah.
So, and this take a bit longer, so that will still take one to 2 years until we have approval.
Have you worked with corporates yet? Any partnerships in the making?
So for the large scale manufacturing, so we indeed are partnering with different companies there. We cannot do it ourselves, so we are still a very small company. So we really need partners to bring our product on the markets, and we are fully working on that.
Would you say, so looking back, is there something that you would have changed or done sooner in the scaling process?
I would say really starting very early in the process, these partnerships, I think that's really important. And maybe just start with a small feasibility study just to learn each other, to see how it goes. And then after that, you can more broaden than the collaboration. So I think that is really key. So having good partners, especially as a small scale-up company.
So there's a lot of founders at the event today, but also startup founders that are listening to the podcast. What would be an advice that you can give to them when it comes to scaling bio-based innovation?
I think that it takes a lot of time. So there's so much things that are involved in a scaling process. So as mentioned, it starts with developing strains, a process. It's not something that you do in a few days, not even in a few weeks. It takes months. Also setting up collaborations with potential manufacturers. You need to build that relationship. It's based on trust. You need to know each other. So it all takes a lot of time.
I've been following the lawsuit that's been going on with Bayer and the glyphosate lawsuit. Is this something that your product is able to substitute, or your platform technology, does it go in this direction?
Currently, our platform is mainly focusing on biofungicides. We also have one project with Syngenta, which is focused on bioinsecticides. So we are not yet working on bioherbicides. So the glyphosate was more versatile. So we are not focusing on that for the moment.
I'm assuming since the EPA, right, has issued that they would accept, right, or that you would be able to enter the American market.
Indeed.
I assume that compared to really chemical-based pesticides, there is a big difference in what you're doing, right?
Yeah, so it's a total different type of molecule. So it's a protein, as mentioned. So it's degraded once it's in the nature. So that's a big difference. We almost now received approval for the first. So we expect that our other molecules that will come out of our platform, that will be more easy to have them registered. I'm convinced that our platform will bring a big improvement for the farmer and also for the end user.